situation is that it's not that the state hasn't gotten you things, but on your own, you're trying to get things, and that's okay. Great. I don't know that he wants a continuance. All right, let's get on the record in position 10. It's 24 SC 003915, State versus William Coleman. Mr. Coleman is here in court with his lawyer, Ms. Rios. Ms. Dilligard is the prosecutor. And Mr. Coleman, my understanding is you're ready to go forward with a plea. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Dilligard is going to put you under oath in just a moment. Once you're under oath, you need to answer her questions and mine, because I'll have a few, truthfully and completely. If you have any questions at any point, you should let me know, because I need to be comfortable you're following what's going along, right?
Yes.
Great. When you're ready.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm that any statements or testimony that you shall give in the matter currently before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You put your hand down. Please state your true, correct, and legal name.
William Coleman.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any medicine, drug, or alcohol?
Medicine, yes.
What is that medicine?
I have schizophrenia. I take medicine for it.
You have, pardon me?
Schizophrenia.
Okay. The medication that you take it when during the day?
I take it once in the morning and once at night.
Did you take it this morning?
Yes.
When you take it, does it make you drowsy or woozy or confused?
No, sir.
Okay. You feel like you're following what's going on in court today?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been taking that medication?
I was diagnosed, I was in the military. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia by them like maybe 3 years ago.
Okay,
So
but you've been taking it pretty regularly since then?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Coleman, how old are you?
I'm 29.
And how far have you gone in school?
High school completed.
And is English your dominant language?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you have been charged with the following offenses: 1 count of aggravated assault.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to that charge?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that if you plead not guilty or remain silent and refuse to enter any plea at all, then the state is required to prove the charges against you at a jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had an opportunity to review the waiver of rights form with your attorney?
Yes.
And did you sign it?
I didn't sign anything.
We went over it.
We went over it.
Okay. Have you had enough time to speak with your lawyer about all the charges, this one charge and this indictment, including the facts and circumstances related to the charges?
Yes.
Would you like more time to discuss the case with your lawyer?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's services?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive formal reading of the indictment?
Yes.
Do you waive any and all defects in the indictment for the purposes of this plea?
Yes.
The state is unaware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges. Do you remember being arrested on these charges?
Yes.
Has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence for this charge that you're pleading guilty today?
Yes.
The minimum being 1 year and the maximum being 20 years?
Yes.
You understand that today you're entering a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will be recommending the following sentence. For count 1 aggravated assault, 5 years probation, to stay away from all auto zones, no contact with the victim, 100 hours community service, and an anger management course.
Yes.
You understand that the court is not required to accept the state's recommended sentence?
Yes.
You understand that the court has the right to sentence you to the maximum possible sentence on this charge being 20 years?
Yes.
Do you understand that the court decides to order a sentence that differs from the negotiated plea you were expecting today, that you have the right to withdraw your plea of guilty?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're currently on probation or parole, your probation and parole may be revoked based on your entering of a guilty plea today?
Yes.
Do you understand if you're placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're on probation, you must follow all the conditions of your probation?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you fail to follow all the special conditions of your probation that you'll be subject to revocation of that probation for the balance of your sentence.
Yes.
You understand that you're not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation.
Yes.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
You understand that if you're not a citizen, a guilty plea conviction will affect your immigration status.
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, you may not receive, possess, or transport a firearm.
Yes.
You understand that doing so will result in new criminal charges for which you will face an additional sentence.
Yes.
You understand that if you were in the future to use a firearm during the commission of a crime, you would face a 15-year custodial sentence consecutive to the sentence for the underlying crime.
Yes.
Are you asking to be treated as a first offender under the provisions of the First Offender Act?
Yes.
Have you ever pled guilty to a felony in the state of Georgia?
No.
Have you ever pled guilty to a felony in any other jurisdiction?
No.
Have you ever been sentenced for any crime, whether felony or misdemeanor, under the First Offender Act?
No.
Has your lawyer explained the First Offender Act to you?
Yes.
You understand that if you violate the terms of your first offender sentence or commit a new offense while on first offender probation, your first offender status can be revoked.
Yes.
This means that you can be adjudicated guilty and can be resentenced up to the maximum sentence for this charge in this indictment. You understand?
Yes.
You understand that by entering a plea of guilty today, you are waiving any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses.
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to appeal if convicted of these charges at a trial.
Yes.
Is it your decision to waive these rights, which means not to use them, and to enter a guilty plea today?
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter this guilty plea?
No.
Is it your decision to enter a guilty plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Coleman, how do you plead to the charges of aggravated assault and indictment number 24 SC 003915?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you only have a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
You understand that if you wish to challenge the voluntariness of your guilty plea, you must do so by filing a habeas corpus petition?
Yes.
You understand that for a felony charge, you only have 4 years from today to file that petition?
Yes.
At this time, do I get factual basis for the charges?
Yes, ma'am.
On February 25th, 2022, Caleb Wilson was working at the AutoZone at 5345 Campbellton Fairborn Road when the defendant came in to return an item. Wilson, the victim, told Coleman that he could not get a 100% cash refund, which upset the defendant. He became irate, went behind the counter, pushed the victim. He began screaming and knocking things over. Coleman, the defendant, threw various items, including bottles of brake fluid, industrial cleaner, at Wilson's head and face. It's the bottles and the brake fluid and the industrial cleaner struck the victim in his head, causing a laceration. The officers responded to the scene, but the defendant had already left. The AutoZone manager provided video footage of the incident to officers, which shows the defendant throwing the bottles at Mr. Wilson's head. He was identified by a receipt that had his name and telephone number on it. Officers showed Coleman's driver's license picture to the victim, who then confirmed that Mr. Coleman was his assailant. All this occurred in Fulton County, Georgia.
All right. And your office has spoken with Mr. Wilson?
We've made multiple attempts to contact the victim. Unfortunately, no success.
I guess this happened almost 3 years ago. So, okay, got it. Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Jackson. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Can you share with me any criminal history information you have, please, on Mr. Coleman?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 2 cycles. The last arrest was April the 14th, 2019, in Decatur, Georgia, with theft by taking, a misdemeanor, and simple battery. He does have 1 misdemeanor conviction that was in 2019 out of DeKalb County for theft by taking and simple battery. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Rios.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Coleman is 29 years old. He completed high school. He was in the military. He was honorably discharged due to his medical condition surfacing. And right now he's working at a hotel as a vent staff. He has 1 child who's 7 months old. I ask that you accept the plea as negotiated. I sent you his proof of the military and that he's working and things. So he's been doing good since this incident. Of course, with his medical condition, I think maybe he's just having a bad day. He did say the victim in the case, it was more of a mutual thing than it appeared, but he understands how it looks. So he's willing to take a plea today. I'm asking for him to be treated as a first offender. Also asking for a behavioral discharge date of within 3 years. And that's all, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, what branch of the military did you serve in?
Navy, sir.
Right? Were you ever deployed overseas?
No, sir.
How long were you in the Navy?
1 year before I got medically discharged.
Okay. And what hotel are you working at now?
It's called the Inn at Serenby. It's in Chattahoochee Hills.
Oh, that's pretty fancy. What do you do there?
I'm event staff, so we have like conferences like Chick-fil-A, Coca-Cola. We have weddings. I also work in the restaurant as well.
Okay. Got it. And you have a young boy or girl?
Boy, sir.
What's his name?
Chance.
Chance?
Yes, sir.
And does Chance stay with you, his mom, or where does Chance stay?
With me.
Okay. Who else is in your household?
I rent out a room to a friend.
So you and Chance, and then a friend is in another room? That's it? And I don't need your street address, but are you down in Chattahoochee Hills, or where do you stay?
I'm in Jonesboro.
Jonesboro, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything you want to add or any questions you have?
Only thing I want to add is, or I say is, that incident's not me. Yeah, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, but I feel like throughout my whole life I behaved differently. I wasn't on my meds at the time, and I was definitely having a bad day.
So talk to me about that middle part, that you weren't taking your medicine at the time, because we talked about your medicine early on in this conversation, that you were diagnosed a while ago and you fairly regularly been taking medication to help address that. Why in February of 20, had you not yet begun taking the medication?
Well,
or you decided I'm gonna take a month off?
When I first got out of the military, I wasn't diagnosed with anything. I just had a mental condition, and it took several years, maybe about 3 or 4 years, before I even went to the VA. And then that's when I was diagnosed. When I first got my meds, I wasn't taking it seriously, and I wasn't taking my medicine.
Okay.
After that incident, since then, I had gone to the VA. I had got reevaluated, and then that's when I started taking.
This helped focus you on the importance of treatment.
Yeah, because
Okay,
exactly,
got it.
it made me realize it was important to take my medicine.
That makes sense, and there's been nothing bad going on since then, February of 2022. Okay, I need to talk to you real briefly about first offender. For first offender, you have no felony conviction, so it's a good opportunity. It means that this is not a felony conviction. If I sentence you as a first offender, that helps with work. If you want to go back to school, all sorts of things, because you don't have to check that box, felon, because you won't be. That's the upside. The downside is that if while you are on probation for this, there's another situation, you get arrested, you get charged with something, those new charges can be a basis for the state to say, oh, we need to revoke first offender. And then without a trial, you'd have a hearing, but you've already admitted you did these things. I could resentence you. It would then become a felony conviction. And I'm making this up. I'm assuming it won't happen. But if a year from now you're in a Pep Boys and you throw a wrench at some guy and hit him in the head, we'll be back here and you'll have that new situation, and hit someone with a wrench. And I might say, well, we need to do 5 years to serve on this one, because your whole story about that's not me and I'm changed, well, wouldn't have been real accurate because something else happened. I don't think that's going to happen to you. You've got a great situation and a wonderful child and all that. But I need you to tell me that you understand, assuming you do, that there's a risk to first offender. It's not just, sweet, I don't have a conviction. If it blows up on you, there are consequences. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I did have one question about that. She recommended 5 years. I did talk about maybe getting less than 5 years.
That was a behavioral incentive date that I asked for. So he's gonna just.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll talk about that in a minute, but I understand you. Do you understand me when
Yes, I
I talk
understand.
about the risks and benefits of first offender?
Yes,
Knowing those, do you want to be sentenced as a first offender?
yes, sir.
Okay, I will do that. Mr. Coleman, I find there's a factual basis for your plea. I understand that if we watched a replay of it, it may well be that Mr. Wilson got in your face some as well, but you are telling me you don't want to go to a jury and have the jury hear everything, and maybe it doesn't come out so well for you. I do find there's a factual basis. And that your plea is knowing and voluntary. Voluntary means no one's forcing you. Knowing means you've understood all the things we talked about. Do you agree with that?
Yes,
I'm sentencing you pursuant to the Probation Options Management Act, which means, hold on one second, that while you're on probation, if you have a small violation, I hope you have none, but if it's small, maybe you miss a meeting, you and probation will work that out. You don't have to come see me. But if it's something big, you get arrested again, or Autozone is calling saying, why is this Coleman guy here in Autozone? That's the kind of thing that will come back to me. Ms. Rios, can someone in my office sign the indictment indicating the guilty plea?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dilligard, can we sign for you?
Yes, Judge.
And Mr. Coleman, can we electronically sign the indictment showing your guilty plea?
yes,
Do you have a weapons carry license?
no,
All right, as said, I'm treating you and sentencing you as a first offender, and I'm going to sentence you to 3 years probation on count one, the only count. Special condition number 1 is to have no contact with Caleb Wilson. I know he's a stranger to you, but don't look him up to try to say sorry or look what you did to me. Number 2, you need to stay out of auto zones. Number 3, you'll need to do 100 hours of community service. That's a lot of hours, so get going on them. Don't wait till year 3 to do that. And I encourage you to be creative in how you do them, because if you just show up and say probation, do you have any ideas? They'll say, sure, pick up trash on the side of the road. And that's a waste of your talents and your time. But if you find an organization where you can volunteer and they can keep track of it, you may well be able to do your community service coaching or working at a food pantry or something like that. There are all sorts of options that you might find a little less drudgery than picking up trash on the side of the road. You will need to take an anger management course. Probation can help you find that. And I'm not setting a behavioral incentive date because I think given how long ago this happened and the fact that there have been no incidents since then, and you've been pretty rigorous in taking your medication, that 3 more years of making sure you stay out of trouble gets us to almost 6 since this incident. So I'm setting it at 3 years probation and no behavioral incentive date. Anything else, Ms. Rios, on behalf of Mr. Coleman?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Dilligard, on behalf of the state.
Nothing further from the state.
All right, Mr. Coleman, before you go, we have Ms. Simpson from probation. She needs to give you reporting instructions. It sounds like you're in Clayton County, so she's going to be getting you an address in Clayton County where you need to report for probation. So listen up, and hopefully Ms. Rios can leave you with a piece of paper with those specifics, okay?
yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor. Thank you.
You bet.
I saw Mr. Cole.